If sitting on the bench paid you, you would be rich. But I don't want you to be rich from that. So let's make you a starter before you become a multi-millionaire off of warming the bench for other dudes. I know what it feels like to be overlooked. I know what it feels like to not get the credit you deserve. And in this video, I'm going to teach you a simple process that you can take to get off the bench, to get more playing time, and to gain the trust of your coaches. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some bonus tips that you can use. So make sure you stick around to the end, because those bonus tips might actually be better than what I'm about to talk to you about in the little process. So make sure you get the full value of this video and take what you can so you can get more playing time. You can gain more trust from your coaches. Before we get into what to do to become the starter, we got to talk about what not to do to become the starter. And the first thing I want to talk about is being envious of people. Whatever situation you're in, whenever you're not the starter and you have to sit behind other people and watch the ones play or the starters play in practice or whatever, do not be envious of the person in front of you. You don't look at him and be like, man, he's not even that good, man. The coach just likes him better than he likes me. Or whatever excuse you make up in your head, I need you to get rid of that. You can't put out that negative energy towards that other person unless you actually have problems with that person outside of football. I get it, but if it's just because he's in front of you because the coach likes him more, don't have any negative energy towards that, because the more you entertain negative emotions, the more it comes up in your life. So instead of being envious of somebody, really be curious and ask yourself, why is he in front of me? Is it because he's the coach's favorite, or is it because like he's actually better than me? He knows the plays, he's a better player than me. Whatever it is, like, be curious of it. And it could be favoritism, because I've been there. I know I've had teammates that have been favorites, and I have teammates that haven't been favorites. So I know what it's like. But our job as players, and especially if we want to become a starter, we got to be so good that the coach can't ignore us. And there's a way to do that, and I'm about to talk to you about in this video. And the first step I want you to take to become the starter is I want you to be honest with yourself. Why aren't you getting the PT you think you want? Is it just because your friend said, bro, you're supposed to be playing more? I don't know what the coaches is thinking. Or you just think like you deserve better just because you're you. Just because like you live in your body and you think you deserve better, not because you put in the work. Like, be honest with yourself. Do you put in the work? Is the dude in front of you, is he a real baller? Like, is he really like that to be in front of you? It could be you not knowing the plays. Because if you don't know the plays, you're really just asking coach to put you on the bench, to stick you on the bench. Because that's really the foundation. If you can run the right route, or if you can know the plays and know your assignment, whatever position you are, that's like the number one thing for a coach to put you on the field is, can you do what you're supposed to do? Can you execute your assignment? And if you can't do that, that's a huge reason why you're not starting, okay? Or it can be an attitude problem. It can be a problem outside the sport. It can be a problem with your personality. A quick story about me: whenever I was in Arizona, whenever I was practicing for the starting job at a receiver, I was doing like a blocking drill. And the head coach, not the receiver coach, the head coach was over there holding the pad, or he was doing something in the drill. And I went up to him and I did the blocking drill, and I did it perfectly. My friend even said I did it perfectly. Like, I did what I was supposed to do. The head coach like just started yelling at me in front of the whole receiver group. He started yelling at me. He was like, why are you so soft? Why aren't you hitting the pad how I want you to hit it? And he was just yelling. And then like I just looked at him, and all I just said was, yes, sir. I just said, yes, sir. I didn't argue with him. And I didn't, because I like internally, I know I did it right. I know it was just a blocking drill. And I just said, yes, sir, because I learned from my past mistakes in high school that if I argue with the coach, they don't like that. They just want you to say, yes, sir. And so after he got done yelling at me, I went to one of my friends that plays receiver, and he was like, bro, I don't know why he yelled at you. You did it perfectly. And like, I was like, bro, I don't know either. But like internally, I knew that he was trying to test me. He was trying to see if I had a bad attitude, if I was going to talk back to him. He was trying to see, but I held it down, and I was like, yes, sir. And sometimes that's what these coaches want you to do. They want you to hold it down and say, yes, sir, even though if you did it perfectly, they want it their way. And so sometimes you got to do it their way if you want to get on the field. And I've had dudes that are more skilled than me, that were faster than me, that are more explosive than me, that didn't get the amount of playing time I had because they had attitude problems. They were talking back to the coaches. They gave the coaches attitude. And whenever I see them like yelling at the coach and talking back to the coach, I'm like, bro, do you, like in my head, I'm like, bro, do you just not want to play? Or you just like, what's going on? Please do not argue with your coach unless it's like something serious. Don't argue with the coach on a philosophical thing where it's about your assignment or about something he wants you to do. Don't argue with him. Ask him questions in a nice way. Have manners. Don't argue. And this, I shouldn't even be telling you this. This should be common sense, but you'll be surprised on how many people argue with your coach and then wonder why they don't have any playing time, wonder why they're stuck on the bench, okay? And another thing that you can be honest with yourself on why you're not the starter is you could have limiting beliefs. You might think you're not good enough to be the starter. You might think that you're not that good of a player, that whenever the coach sticks you in the game, you don't make the play. Whenever it's time for you to make the play, you don't make the play. And you tell yourself that and you run that over and over in your mind. And that could be a limiting belief. That was just a very like broad thing. Like if you play a receiver and he puts you in and you know he's gonna throw you the ball, but then you drop it, and then you're just running that over and over in your head, that's gonna go into your subconscious the more you think about all the bad things you do, and then the more bad things are gonna show up whenever you play football. Or if you play linebacker and you know the running back's coming up the middle, you got to make the play. And most of the time you don't make the play. Most of the time the running back gets past you and maybe scores or whatever, and it's your fault. You can't keep running that play over and over in your head. You got to move on. And so the more you run the negative things in your head, the more the negative things are going to happen. So I want you to, if negative things happen, which they do, like you make a mistake on that field, it's just get up and the next play. Think about how you can make that play and how you have made that play before. So get rid of limiting beliefs. And it could be that, or it could be something completely different, like you don't think you're fast enough, you don't know the plays. And I need you to take advantage of whatever that limiting belief is and completely flip it around and start telling yourself the opposite. So if you don't know the plays, tell yourself you do know the plays, and then take action on studying the plays, take action on asking your teammates the plays and all of that. Okay, now that you've been honest with yourself about reasons why you aren't starting, reasons why you aren't getting the playing time you deserve, now we have a clear idea on what our weakness is and what our strength is. Identify what the best part of your game is. So I'm always gonna take this back to playing receiver. If the best part of your game is you're quick and once you get the ball in your hand, nobody can touch you, then that's your strength. And then your weakness, say your weakness is your hands, okay? Right now, those are your two main focuses. Focus on getting more shifty and really leaning into your strength. And on the flip side, focus on getting your hands right. Focus on catching more footballs throughout the day. People always ask me, what's the best way you can get better at catching footballs? And whenever you ask a question on how you can get better at something, you're telling yourself the answer whenever you ask that question. They ask me, yo, how do I get better at catching footballs? Bro, go catch some more footballs, okay? How do I get better at running routes? Bro, go run some routes. And I know that we don't always have people to throw us the football and stuff, so you can catch bricks, you can do some fingertip push-ups, I get it. But the best thing to get better at catching footballs is catching footballs. So whatever your weakness is, ask yourself, well, how can I get better at this? And you're probably gonna give yourself the answer. It's just by doing that thing more and more and more. And after you ask yourself that, I want you to go on YouTube and I want you to look up as much research and as much videos as you possibly can to clear up your answer on how you can really get better at whatever your weaknesses is. Like if it's your plays, you don't gotta go on YouTube. You just gotta ask your friends what the plays are. If it's mindset, I got videos on mindset, okay? If you're not in shape, I got videos teaching you how to get in shape. And so with the research part, I can help you out. I've been through what you have been through. Why not learn from somebody that's been through your exact situation? And to do that, you can join my community right here. I have videos teaching you how to become unguardable if you're a receiver, how to become aesthetic and athletic, how to get ripped and become athletic at the same time, and really enhancing both of those parts of your life, and how to reprogram your mindset. I have videos all about that, and you can join and you can ask me questions about your personal situation. I can give you something personal to you that I wouldn't give somebody else. And if you want to support the channel, I got the Create Your Narrative shirt on. It's comfy, it's cool. You can work out on it. You can go to the club in it, whatever. It's a nice shirt, so go check it out. Go get you some merch and support the channel. But back to the video. But whatever your weakness is, Find what it is that'll solve that problem or that'll get you better at that weakness and that'll strengthen your weakness. Take in mind what it is. Put it in the notes app on your phone. Write it down on a piece of paper. What is it that's gonna get you better? And then after you find out what the solution is to you getting better at your weakness and you strengthening that weakness, I need you to flip it, okay? Say for instance, you want to get better at catching footballs. And I just told you that you can do fingertip push-ups, that you can catch bricks, but most importantly is to catch more footballs, okay? And so now that you know what the solution is, now that you know the actions you need to take, now I want you to tell yourself that you are great at catching footballs. Now I want you to tell yourself that you have the best hands on the team. That's just an example, but I want you to use that for whatever your weakness is. Whatever your weakness is, whatever it is that you want to get better, I want you to flip that belief in your head. I want you to tell yourself that you already have the solution, that it's not a problem anymore. That was a simple process I wanted you to take to find out what your strength is, to find out what your weakness is, and to get off the bench and to get more playing time. But now here are the bonus tips I was talking about earlier that are potentially more valuable than the process I just gave you. And this first tip I'm about to tell you is something that an NFL player told me, and how he's made the Pro Bowl multiple times, and how he got drafted out of a Division II school, and how he's had a good NFL career. And I train with him. He's cool, bro. But he told me to make plays on special teams and to take special teams serious. So whenever you're in practice, I know that we want to be the starter. We want to be the main character. We want to be the main dude on the team. And the main dude usually doesn't play special teams. But if you want to secure a spot on the team, you got to ball out on special teams. You got to show that you're a football player and that you're not just a receiver, that you're not just a linebacker, that you're not just a running back. You got to be able to show that you are a team player and that you're willing to take on other roles to help the team succeed. Because coaches don't like divas. Coaches don't like players that just play football for the glory. They like team players. They like players who are in the trenches, okay? So make plays on special teams. Be a great special teams player, okay? Because coaches love that. And that's at all levels. NFL, college, high school, junior high. They love special teams players. The second tip, that this is what I learned, and I learned this from watching one of my teammates. He was the best receiver I've ever watched in person, was one of my teammates in high school. And he would dominate in practice. Every single rep, he would go full speed 100%. It doesn't matter what's hurting. Whenever he's in that rep, whenever he's in practice playing, he's going 100%. He's not taking a play off. He treated every drill that we did, every practice, every situation that we practiced in, every scrimmage, he treated everything like it was the game. And so when the game came, like him balling out and him destroying corners and DBs, it was just, we knew it was going to happen because he was doing it in practice all the time. So whenever I got up to Arizona and I started playing against the college dudes as a freshman, I was like, no, I have to treat this like a game. I have to treat it like a Super Bowl. I have to dominate in practice. And whenever I'm in the play, doesn't matter how tired I am, I know that it's going to be on film the next day and that we're going to watch it in the meeting the next day. So I got to go hard. And so that's something you got to do. You got to understand that whatever you do on the field, if your team films it, it's going to be on film the next day. So you don't want to embarrass yourself. You want to go as hard as you can, okay? You don't want to take a play off. You got to win your matchups. You got to execute your assignment. And obviously mistakes happen, but we got to take it serious and we got to realize what our goal is. Our goal isn't just to play football. Our goal is to be the starter. We got to be more intentional with our actions. We can't just go through the motions. If you're going through the motions in any aspect of life, you're really not going to be a top performer at it, okay? So win your matchups, dominate in practice, and then you got to master your position. You got to know your assignments better than anybody. You got to know what to do when the dude's pressed up on you, when he's back. You got to know when the front is looking a certain way on the defense. You got to know what the safeties are doing and what that means for the offense. You got to know whenever that receiver comes in motion, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to line up. You got to know if you follow him. You got to know if you're staying on your side, you're playing zone. You really have to be a student of the game. If you're a receiver and you can learn everybody's routes instead of your own, that's going to be a huge plus, because whenever you're on the field and your teammate forgets the route and he asks you what it is, you can easily tell it to him and then boom, you're ready to go. That's some of the best teammates to have, is the teammates that know everything that's going on in the field. So learn everything that's going on in the field, learn your job, and then learn other people's jobs around you. because that'll make the game way easier. That'll make everything so clear to you. That'll really take your game to the next level. That's how I was my senior year. I knew everything in and out on the routes, on the plays. I knew everything that was happening from the line to the quarterback to the running back and the other receivers on the routes. I knew everything that was going to happen. That gave me more clearance in my head to just shut up and play football. And that's when we are the best. And the next tip I want to give you is to always be ready, because in the sport of football, we have no idea what's going to happen this next play. Anything can happen this next play. So you need to always be ready, and you need to tell yourself that you are ready. You need to tell yourself, and you got to believe that you are ready. And whenever that moment comes for the coach to put you in the game, you gotta ball out, okay? You gotta prepare like you're a starter. You gotta get ready for the game like you're a starter. Because if your moment comes and you're not ready, it's just clear to the coach that he's just not gonna play you, okay? Don't waste your shot. Don't waste your opportunity. Don't waste your days. Every day is a new opportunity. You do not waste your days. Do not waste your habits, okay? And then the last tip I want to give you is that sometimes in the sport, you gotta wait your turn. Sometimes like the dude in front of you is like that. He might be older than you. He might be just a better player than you. And sometimes you gotta wait your turn. Sometimes that's just how it is. And you see a lot of players nowadays, they don't wait their turns. You see the transfer portal. The transfer portal hasn't always been this popular in college football because a lot of these players, they don't want to wait their turn. They just want to play right away. And so that's why the transfer portal is so popular. But if you can go to one school and then stick it out for the first 2 years and maybe the third year, that's when you get the second job, and then your senior year you get the number one job. That's the true football player. You gotta wait your turn. You gotta be patient, okay? Like I said earlier, is to not waste your opportunities, not waste your days. Because if you don't waste your days and you're constantly getting better, maybe that starting job will come up way earlier than your senior year, okay? But you gotta be patient. You can't be in a rush, okay? So hopefully you gained something from this video. Hopefully you learned something that you can take away and that you can start putting into action today, and that you can learn to just get better and to get more playing time. Hopefully you learned something like that. If you got value from this video, let me know in the comments. But now that you know how to become the starter, now that you know how to get more playing time, now we got to learn how to become the star player, the number one guy. And watch this video right here if you want to do that.